For years, mythical creatures had only existed in stories and legends. But recently, strange footage online started making people question everything.
Look at those claws. It's standing up like a person.
From dragon-like beasts in the sky to strange figures hiding in forests.
It's looking right at me. Holy shit.
These clips left viewers completely confused.
Holy, what the is that?
So get ready for the most mysterious, mythical creature sightings ever caught on camera. This clip came out of China and spread pretty fast once people got a look at it. It was filmed somewhere along the Liao River Valley, and right away there was something massive moving slowly through the area. The shape was long, scaled, and honestly built in a way that just looked like a dragon. What really put the size into perspective were the sheep and cows visible on the ground nearby. Compared to those animals, this dragon was absolutely enormous. The way it moved, the way it was shaped, people couldn't stop talking about it. River Beast Encounter. So this guy's out on his boat, just fishing like any other day, when his camera catches something way off in the distance near the end of the river. Whatever it wasn't small. And it definitely wasn't a crocodile or anything you'd expect to see around there. Every time it moved, the water just exploded into these massive splashes. From that far away, nobody could really tell what. The guy on the boat just sat there watching, probably as confused as anyone would be. Cliff Pegasus appearance. The person recording barely saw anything through the heavy fog at first, but then, right near the edge of the rocky cliff, a large figure appeared in the mist. The shape looked exactly like a horse, except it clearly had massive wings. It carefully moved across the uneven ground before lightly flapping its wings a few times. Even with the weather covering most of the area, the outline stayed surprisingly clear on camera. By the end of the footage, it really did resemble a Pegasus standing above the cliffs.
Holy
Greek mermaid encounter. A family enjoying their trip around the Greek islands started filming the ocean when the camera suddenly picked up something unusual in the water. A few mermaids could be seen coming up from the sea, before going back under again only seconds later. The movements looked very smooth, and for a moment, it almost seemed like they were swimming together in a group. The clip quickly caught attention online, because people could not stop connecting it to the old myths and sea stories that Greece had been known for centuries. Campsite dogman footage.
Oh my god. It's looking right at me.
What would you do if you found a creature like this right in between the trees? This man was camping when he heard a strange noise coming from near the lake in the forest. When he went to check and used his torchlight, there was this strange creature that was seen sitting at first, but then it got up and ran away on its 2 feet, just like a human. But wait, this was not a human. It was a dogman. So maybe we have one of the clearest footage of the dogman ever caught now, which no one can deny. Airborne dragon encounter. The passenger sitting near the window had been completely shocked by what appeared beside the airplane mid-flight. Right outside the clouds, a massive flying figure moved alongside the plane for a few seconds, and its shape looked strangely close to what people described as a dragon. The long body, huge wings, and slow movement made the clip feel almost unreal at first. Even the person recording sounded confused by what they had been seeing. This was probably one of the clearest footage of a dragon compared to most videos of sightings like this. Cave griffin appearance. Right outside a cave entrance, a person filming the area suddenly captured a creature that looked completely out of place. It had the body of a large tiger or lion, but its face looked more like an eagle, and huge wings were visible along its sides. The way it slowly walked out from the darkness made the footage feel even stranger to watch. For a few moments, it stayed near the rocks as the camera kept recording from a distance. What really caught attention was how clearly all the different features could be seen together, because it looked like 2 completely different animals combined into one. Mountain dragon discovery. The man had been hiking through a mountain area when he suddenly noticed a figure standing out in the open. The person looked unusually rough, almost like someone who had been living far away from normal civilization for years. What made the scene even harder to process was the large dragon-like creature resting on the ground beside him. It appeared tied down, barely moving at first, until a short burst of fire came from its mouth before fading away again. The entire clip looked so strange that people could not even agree on what they had just watched. Forest creature evidence.
Look at those claws. It's standing up like a person.
The man had been pretty sure nobody would believe what he had managed to capture. He had stopped near a river deep in the forest when this furry, dog-like creature appeared in view. It had been standing on its 2 feet beside a tree, moving slowly around the trunk. It placed its hand right over the scratch marks on the bark, as if it was behind them. The way it stood there so calmly made the whole moment feel a bit hard to take in, like it didn't really belong there.
My God, it's really doing it. Nobody's gonna believe this.
Mythical creature gathering. The family had been hiking through the area when they suddenly noticed a really unusual sight nearby. Moving across the rocky ground was a horse-like figure with large wings attached to its body, and it seemed to glide and jump through the area with surprising ease. Down below in the water, 2 separate figures could also be seen swimming around, and their shape looked strangely similar to mermaids. The combination of all 3 creatures in one place made the footage feel almost unreal, like the camera had captured a scene that normally only existed in stories. Upright goat sighting. A farmer had been near a patch of bushes when he spotted a strange goat-like figure standing upright on its 2 legs. The moment he started recording, the creature appeared to notice the camera almost immediately. Right after that, it lowered itself onto all 4 feet and began moving like a regular goat through the area. Still, the way it had first been standing made the footage feel extremely unusual to the person filming. That quick change in behavior became the part that really stayed on people's minds after watching the clip. Cave dragon encounter. An old clip from 2002 had suddenly started spreading online again after people noticed how strange the footage actually looked. Right outside the entrance of a cave, a dragon-like figure could be seen standing still as a man approached it, holding a bell. He kept shaking the bell toward the creature, almost like he had been trying to scare it away from the area. After a few seconds, the figure suddenly leaped back inside the cave and disappeared from view. What kept people talking was the fact that nobody ever figured out what the creature had been or where it could have gone after all these years. Unicorn field encounter. A hiker walking through the English countryside pulled out his camera when he spotted something totally unexpected. 2 horses just grazing in an open field. The brown one, completely normal, but that white one, a single horn right on its head, and it looks nothing like a costume or a trick. Nobody's been able to pin down exactly where this was filmed or what the real story is, but the second you see this animal, everything just stops. A real unicorn, or just some wild glitch in nature. Either way, this clip will have you staring at your screen with your jaw on the floor. Snow angel sighting. This guy was out hiking through a snow-covered forest when he suddenly stopped. Something behind one of the trees had caught his eye, a woman in white, with big wings coming off her back. He stood there for a second, not even sure what he was looking at. An angel or a fairy? It was impossible to tell. But before he could even take a step closer, she was gone. Just like that, nothing behind the tree. He wasn't the only one left with questions. Everyone who watched that clip walked away, wondering exactly what was standing in those woods that day. Spider deer footage.
Holy, what is that?
Deep in the forest, someone caught this creature on camera that just does not make any sense. It looked like a deer from the body, but the legs were long and thin like a spider. The whole clip just feels off from the moment it starts. Whatever this thing was, it clearly did not belong in any category of animals we know, and once you see it, it is not something you forget easily.
Easy. Oh, hey, whoa.
Winged lion discovery. A strange recording from the early 19th century showed something that definitely did not look like an ordinary lion. The creature stood across a rocky area with a body similar to a large cat, but that was only part of what made people stop and stare. Dark wings stretched from its back, and the face looked oddly human from certain angles. Even now, the footage still felt difficult to process. No confirmed sightings ever appeared again after that recording, and whatever was seen there eventually became known as a lost species, with no clear classification. Mountain beast capture. During a hiking trip, a man started recording a far mountain slope after hearing local stories about unknown tribes living in that area. As he zoomed in with his camera, something completely unexpected showed up in the frame and left him frozen in place. A huge winged creature appeared on screen, with wide stretched wings and strange stick-like shapes around it, almost like it was being held or trapped in some way. It slowly moved its head from side to side, reacting like it was aware of its surroundings, and not just part of the background. The clip never explains what it was, and that mystery is exactly what makes this footage even more unsettling. River creature footage. Nobody expects to see something like this on a regular security feed, but there it was, right from the bushes along the riverbank. A small figure stepped out into the open, and honestly, it matched the old descriptions pretty closely. It walked on two legs, real slow, and kept turning its head like it was making sure nothing was watching. No sudden movements or anything dramatic. Just this creature making its way straight into the water, disappearing beneath the surface without a sound. And the footage hasn't stopped people from talking since. Forest Dogman sighting. You just have to be ready for this one, because this is where things become serious. A dark furry creature was seen walking on its 2 feet when the sun was about to set, and you cannot tell me that this is not a dogman. It looked just like a dog with a tail, and it was walking just like a human, right between the trees. Even with the blurry camera quality, there is no doubt for everyone watching the clip that this is a dogman. Zhangjiajie dragon sighting. A group of tourists in Zhangjiajie recorded the mountains during a cloudy day when the camera suddenly caught a long white figure moving across the sky. At first, it almost blended in with the clouds, but once it came into view, the shape looked surprisingly similar to a dragon. The clip became popular because people could not figure out what else it could have been. With how often dragons appeared in old Asian stories, the footage immediately started a huge debate online. Trail camera dogman. A trail camera was set in the forest for security, but what it captured was something that no one had ever expected. There was a strange figure that looked like a dog, but on its 2 feet. It was closely looking into the camera, as if wondering what it could be, and it did not look satisfied from it. The way it made its face, and then went away. When the authorities checked the whole area, they could not find it, but everyone has been calling it a dogman ever since it was captured. Farm dogman encounter. Now you cannot tell me that this is not a dogman. A farmer was quietly checking his fields when he captured this. Right in front of a fence, there was a dog-like creature with a dark, furry body standing on its 2 feet, and it was slowly moving its head, checking out the whole area. There was no doubt that this was a dogman, and the myths have become a reality now. Ness monster footage. A fisherman out on his boat had been scanning the water when he noticed a massive shape moving in the distance. He quickly zoomed in with his camera, and the creature's body showed what looked like large, unusual scales. The way it moved through the water did not resemble any normal sea animal people were used to seeing. The man became convinced he had finally captured the famous Loch Ness monster on video, turning an old mystery into something people could actually watch for themselves. Pennsylvania dragon sighting. For a second, the flying figure almost looked too massive to be real. The footage, recorded over Pennsylvania, showed a huge creature moving across the sky with enormous wings and a long tail trailing behind it. The original audio had been removed, and the clip had also been zoomed in, but the shape still stood out clearly against the clouds. A lot of people immediately compared it to a dragon because of the way it looked in flight. Still, plenty of viewers could not agree on what they had actually been watching the whole time. Farm dragon encounter. During a walk around a quiet field close to her farmhouse, a woman suddenly saw a huge creature gliding low. It looked strange in shape, with big wings spreading wide while it passed right in front. She was shocked, because it felt real, and not like anything she had seen. At that moment, she thought it was a dragon from stories she had heard growing up, and could not explain it fully. Patrol creature footage. During a late-night patrol, a guard noticed something unusual hovering close to the ground. A winged figure moved through the air with an unnatural shape. The short clip lasted seconds, yet it was enough to shock viewers and leave them speechless. Chinese dragon discovery. Across China, a large crowd moved in after spotting a strange, massive body lying out in the open. The creature had a horned head, and its huge, stretched body looked like it went on without end. People standing there were completely shocked, with many thinking it might actually be a dragon from old legends. The video spread quickly online and grabbed massive attention, but it didn't last long before authorities suddenly removed it. After that, only questions were left behind, and people kept wondering if dragons could still be real in today's world. Mothman night sighting. One night, a strange flying figure was spotted moving across the dark sky. Bright eyes stood out in the darkness, while huge bat-like wings made it look even more odd. Many people quickly thought of the Mothman legend from West Virginia, a tall, winged being from old stories. Was this really the same creature? Tell me what you think about it. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Church creature footage. So there's this 2019 clip that still messes with people's heads. And remember, this was way before AI videos were even a thing. It was filmed from two angles, outside a church, showing something with a human-shaped body and giant wings just crawling up the wall. The way it moves is so slow and calculated, it genuinely freaks everyone out. Everyone who watched it was completely speechless. And honestly, nobody's figured it out yet. Some say an unknown animal, some say a mythical creature, and others think it's something way beyond anything we can actually explain. Pegasus Farm sighting. Right before sunrise, out on some random patch of farmland, people grabbed their cameras, and what they caught has been messing with heads ever since. This thing walking near a barn, built like a horse, sure, but coming out of its shoulders were two massive wings, fully spread. This creature walked around like nothing was unusual, while chickens were going crazy somewhere in the background. Nobody on that farm had an answer. And the second it rounded the corner behind that barn and vanished, it left behind this heavy, uncomfortable feeling that nobody there could just shake off. Backyard fairy encounter. This guy was just out doing regular yard work when something near his wall completely stopped him in his tracks. Crouched right there in the open was this tiny human-shaped thing, digging into the dirt like it was looking for something specific. You couldn't make out the full face or every detail of its body, but the way it moved, controlled, focused, like it knew exactly what it was doing, gave off this deeply unsettling energy. The whole clip just sits in this eerie silence while the thing keeps going at it without a care in the world. What on earth was that thing doing in his backyard? Griffin stream footage. Deep in the woods, a night vision camera picked up something that nobody was ready for. This massive thing, front end looking like a lion, back end carrying what looked like eagle features, just casually drinking water from a stream, like it belonged there. The footage was grainy enough to make you second guess your eyes, but clear enough to keep you glued to the screen. People watching couldn't move on from it, because what if those creatures from ancient mythology never actually disappeared, and have just been out there, hiding where nobody thinks to look? Fairy forest discovery. While exploring beside a riverbank, a research team noticed movement right near them quickly there. On camera footage, it showed a small human-like figure with face, arms, and legs clearly visible. Its movement and expressions made it seem like a fairy. Later, they reported seeing more similar figures sitting in nearby trees and flying around the same area again. The discovery shocked everyone watching closely. They started wondering if these sightings were just coincidences or real signs that fairies might exist beyond old stories. Roadside wolf encounter. Late at night, in the middle of nowhere, this guy driving alone suddenly had to slam his brakes. Something stepped out from the tree line, shaped like a wolf, but on a completely different scale. Every step looked heavy and intentional, totally unbothered by the headlights right in its face. The camera caught it crossing the road before it just dissolved into the darkness. And just like that, the night went completely silent, like nothing had ever happened. Tree fairy discovery.
Look, why they be peeking like that?
Right in the middle of a normal TikTok live, the comments just went crazy. There, inside a tree hole, was this tiny human-looking thing, staring straight at the camera before jumping back inside. The way it moved was way too aware and controlled to just ignore, like that tree was literally where it lived. The clip spread everywhere, and people split into two groups. Fast one side saying it was a fairy with no wings, the other saying it had to be an alien. The live ended with that tree hole sitting empty, but nobody who watched it could just forget what they saw.
Peek it.
Phoenix forest encounter. Someone in China caught footage that is really hard to look away from. Right in the middle of the day, these white birds with long feathers were flying over the mountains so smoothly, it looked like a scene from a movie. They went into the trees and were gone, and you just can't help but think of the white phoenix from old stories. Later that same night, a man walking through those same woods saw one of them again, but this time, it was glowing. Actually, glowing. His camera caught it flying quietly between the trees, with this soft light coming off their feathers in the dark. This really makes you think that maybe the phoenix was never just a story, but something people have actually been seeing all along. Griffin hatchery discovery. Nobody saw this one coming. The camera zoomed in on this huge egg sitting under bright lights, and the shell was already starting to crack. Then a bird-like head slowly pushed through, eyes wide open, beak covered in little bits of shell. But then the camera pulled back, and that was where it really got us all. A whole row of glass enclosures, each one holding a creature with the face of an eagle and the body of a tiger. Griffins, just sitting there behind the glass, staring out. The whole place felt like it was hiding something much bigger than anyone had ever expected. Barn beast footage. An old barn, 2 German shepherds, keeping watch over a flock of sheep, and then this thing shows up. Built like a dog, but walking and moving in ways that made no sense for any normal animal. The footage is grainy and rough, but that actually adds to it. This was recorded long before anyone had the tools to fake something like this. The speed, the strength, the way it carried itself, nothing about it added up. And the moment those dogs noticed it, the whole energy in that barn shifted. Everyone who watched this clip was left with one question they could not shake off. Forest Pikachu footage. Right next to the woods, on this muddy stretch of ground, a guy points his camera at something, and you immediately do a double take. This little yellow thing, moving carefully, stopping every few steps like it knew something was watching it. The shape, the color, the way it carried itself, it looked pulled straight out of a cartoon, like Pikachu had somehow wandered into the real world. Everyone who saw the clip couldn't make up their minds bizarre, undiscovered animal, or did fiction just somehow cross over into reality? Midnight Creature Patrol. A security guard out on his usual night rounds pointed his camera at something moving through an open field. This furry creature just making its way through the grass, taking its time. And here is the thing, it did not look scary at all. No rushing, no aggression, just completely calm like it was out for a casual walk. But somehow that made it even more uncomfortable to watch. There is something about seeing a creature like that in the middle of the night, totally relaxed and unbothered, that just sits with you and does not let go. Serpent River sighting. This guy was just out having a quiet fishing trip by the river when everything changed in a matter of seconds. Something long and serpent-like broke through the surface, its entire body curving above the water before sliding back down into the depths like it was never there. Blink and you'd miss it, but the camera didn't. For anyone who grew up hearing stories about what lurks beneath Loch Ness, this footage hits differently. At the end, all that was left was a clip that people will keep coming back to for a very long time. Mountain Demon Encounter. A guy out walking on a mountain trail spotted something up on the rocks and pulled out his camera to get a closer look. At first, all he could see were 2 small lights blinking in the distance. Then, as he zoomed in, those lights turned out to be eyes. Glowing eyes. And just behind them, faint but clear enough to notice, were these horn-shaped things that looked just like a goat's horns. The creature just stood there, completely still, looking straight down at him. The whole thing felt heavy and uncomfortable in a way that is really hard to put into words. Brazilian werewolf discovery. A couple driving through Petrolina, Brazil came across something unexpected on the road that made them pull over immediately. There was this body just lying there, shaped unlike anything they had ever seen, clearly not any animal either of them could recognize. The man described it as a werewolf. And looking at the footage, it was really hard to think of another explanation. People in the area began wondering where this creature had been all this time, and how it had managed to stay out of sight for so long. What it actually was and where it came from remains something nobody has been able to figure out. Japanese beast sighting. A group of Japanese tourists were out exploring the woods when something through the trees caught their attention. This large furry creature moved slowly between the trunks, and right away everyone could tell it was not a bear. The size was different, the shape was different, everything about it was off compared to anything they had seen before. Cameras came out fast and they managed to get the whole thing on film. The group walked away from that forest, knowing they had just seen something that most people will only ever read about. Christmas Dogman Encounter.
Or just a strange peeping Tom. This one's kind of wild.
This guy was outside at night filming his Christmas lights. Just a normal thing to do around the holidays. But while he was recording, he caught something near one of his windows that had no business being there. Something was hanging right there by the window, looking inside the house. Then, in a split second, it dropped to the ground and took off on all fours. The whole thing happened so fast it was hard to process what he was even watching. The man who filmed it had no doubt in his mind about what it was. He was convinced it was a dogman.
It's so quick when it runs off and on all fours.
And now, let's move on to the subscriber's pick. One clip that had been spreading all over the internet left people arguing almost immediately after watching it. The footage showed a man calmly washing a white dragon-like creature out in what looked like a farm area. What really confused viewers was how relaxed both of them seemed during the whole moment. A lot of people brushed the video off as generated footage, but others kept insisting the movements looked far too natural to ignore that easily. With that, see you next time.